Another month in 2020, another newsletter chock full of controversial theories and facts, now condensed down into an easier to swallow format. We got them videos! The first topic that everyone should be made aware of, first and foremost, is the newest footage released of the George Floyd fiasco. For those that watched the various camera angles of the street corner on that day in May, some of us were perplexed as to why there was no body cam footage to be found, including the several minutes between Floyd being taken to the police vehicle up to when his face was being buried into the cement, which was hard to see from the original camera footage.
Step out of the vehicle and step away from me, alright? Step out and face away. Step out and face away.
Please don't shoot me, please, man.
I'm not gonna shoot you. Step out and face away.
I'm gonna get out of here, man. Please don't shoot me, man. Stop resisting, man. I'm sorry. Yes, you are. Stand up.
As one can clearly see and hear, Mr. Floyd wasn't exactly compliant nor sober during the incident, making the encounter much more worse than it had to be. With that being said, I'm not justifying this heinous act of killing a cuffed and obviously frightened citizen, but we must have all sides of a story to truly understand the lessons within. The next topic loaded into the chamber is about the nefarious and notorious Ghislaine Maxwell, the right-hand lady of the purportedly dead Jeffrey Epstein, who was arrested and eventually suicided not too long ago for abhorrent blackmailing schemes and having ties to an international sex slave ring that involves people within the highest echelons of society and government. From France, the FBI plucked Ghislaine from her hideout and whisked her off to American soil, where she is currently in queue for a trial of the century. That is, if she doesn't find herself on the wrong side of the noose before the hearing.
We are all set to go, and we have the signal. As Mr. Knieven leans, we are looking for 55 kilograms. We have 25 on the rope.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and Mr. Knieven appears to have collapsed. Oh, he is simulating having been choked out.
Here? Let's hope the information that seemingly dissipated with the death of Epstein can be once again solidified through the testimony and evidence from this mistress of the night.
These sexualized massages developed into sexual encounters, for which Maxwell, in some instances, was present and participated.
The last shot I feel like firing should hit the bullseye for anyone reading or watching this. Something that actually affects our everyday lives, perforating through the various levels that make us a modern wonder. Social media. Or rather, modern-day propaganda mills, awash us daily, hourly even, with consistent rhetoric that typically engenders innate fear. Fear of getting sick.
Would this possibly become a seasonal cyclic thing? And I've always indicated to you that I think it very well might.
Fear of being a racist.
Since I work for that company, my CEO has told me to come out today and to bring you on your knees because you have white privilege. And could you just please apologize for your white privilege? Just apologize?
I am. I'm trying to think of the right words to say because that's a big thing to say.
It's big.
It comes from.
It's large in this country.
Fear of not being able to pay the bills.
My first thought is going like, I don't even know where to start.
You go from feeling really secure to really thinking about, oh, how am I going to make rent this month?
There's no new paycheck coming in for the next month's bills, and the bills aren't going to stop coming in.
It seemed like everything that was starting to look up for me and my family drastically changed within one day with this pandemic.
Fear that our president is an oppressive tyrant bent on creating the next 1,000-year Reich. Which is somewhat plausible, but is not a subject we'll get into for the time being. May I suggest that social media of all kinds, no matter the format, has done more harm on the social stratum of America and other parts of the world than it has helped? Ask yourself, when was the last time you saw or read something on Facebook that made you feel genuine happiness. And animal videos don't count. Ask yourself, is giving up your data and freedoms for a small piece of arbitrary security going to help you in the long run? Ask yourself, if those tech gods that created most of these platforms weren't actually telling the truth of their motives, would that make those that use it complicit to their unethical and illegal actions by simply using their service?
You have previously given testimony to the Congress saying that there is not editorial manipulation. Just like in the case of Google, there have been whistleblowers from Facebook that not only have offered evidence indicating the testimony was not truthful, but there's even video. And what is your response?
As I've said, we aim to be a platform for all ideas. I certainly do not want our platforms to be run in a way that has any ideological bias.
I think both in the case of these content moderators and in the case of the testimony you just gave regarding Mr. Lucky and firing people over their politics, there is serious question as to whether or not you're giving truthful testimony here or whether it's lying before Congress.
Sometimes, one must ask themselves the hard questions, lest they be swallowed up by self-deceit.
Overnight, we lost our right to freely assemble. We lost our right to gather in our houses of worship. We lost our rights to patronize our favorite restaurants and bars. The mayor of Los Angeles threatened to deputize his city employees and send them out onto the street to enforce the law. Governor Newsom, in a press conference, said that
we have the ability to do martial law and things like that.
None of these measures have any end date, and they will continue as long as they need to, or as long as we put up with it. Here's the problem. When we let our fear replace common sense, we can end up losing some of our most treasured freedoms. We let our right to privacy be destroyed because we put our fear above our sense of justice and freedom. If the government has the power to spy on us without our consent, who's to say that they wouldn't use that power now to make sure we're following the shelter-in-place laws? So Milton Friedman once said that there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government law. And once you give up your civil liberties, it's astonishingly difficult to get them back. The threat of the coronavirus has already given the government the authority to tell people what they can do, where they can go, and who they can associate with. If we don't stand up for our rights, especially in the most difficult of times, we may lose them forever. Those of us that believe in protecting ourselves and our neighbors from this deadly virus, and also protecting our civil liberties, must bravely speak up now, before it's too late.